Welcome to the Retirement Evolved podcast with certified financial fiduciary Adam Bruno.
This is episode 34 with certified financial fiduciary Adam Bruno, and with me as always, the world's greatest co-host, Lauren Trolson.
Here we are again, episode 34.
Episode 34. You know what next week is? Episode 35.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's a little weird, though, because normally we have the camera in here, and now we're kind of going every other week with the camera. I kind of like this. I feel like I can just sit back and I don't have to, like, suck my gut in or anything.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
That's supposed to be, like, the best thing about podcasts, right? Nobody sees you.
Nobody
but now
sees you.
Everybody sees us anyway.
Wow.
And thank you to our wonderful team here who did such a very good job on our last podcast. In case you haven't seen it yet, it's on YouTube. And there are plenty of little funny add-ins that they did for us. I felt a little offended, and then I realized it's probably funny, so it's okay.
I enjoyed it.
And if you don't know who we are Evolution Retirement Services and Evolution Wealth Management. We are your final destination for all things retirement planning. What are we doing, Lauren? What are we doing with retirement?
We're making it great again.
We're making retirement great again. That's right. You can find us on evolutionretirementservices.com, taxfreefortmyers.com. You can email us. You can call us. You can bring any of your questions, and we are not going to charge you a darn thing. So if you have information that you need answered, we're going to answer it for you. If you need help, we're here for you. I was just telling Lauren, I've been watching the A-Team a lot lately, right? If you can find them. Well, you know exactly where you can find us. We're here. This is our yard, and we're ready to help you make retirement even better. So that being said, let's get right into it. This week in history, 1846, the first official game of baseball was played in New Jersey's Elysian Field. The New York Mutuals defeated the New York Knickerbockers 23-21, Lauren.
23-1.
23-1, I'm sorry. Yep, 23-1. What I was saying is 23 runs in a 4-inning baseball game.
Wild.
That's definitely not professional baseball as we know it at that time period, right? That is wild. 1910, and we're coming up on it this weekend, but in 1910, Father's Day was celebrated for the first time in Spokane, Washington. And in 1983, I was 2 years old. Sally Ride became the first American woman to travel into space when the Space Shuttle Challenger was launched on its second mission. And 1992, saving the best for last. I feel like this is something President Joe Biden would do. But Vice President Dan Quayle instructed a Trenton, New Jersey elementary school student to spell potato as P-O-T-A-T-O-E with an E at the end during a spelling bee. And that is the problem with America as we know it now.
Oh, my gosh.
You think Biden would have done something like that?
I don't think he even know how to spell potato or even spell it out for a kid.
Tomato, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Biden would have told him, hey, spell it this way.
Potato, eggplant.
Oh, man, we have too much fun on the show. So that is This Week in History. We like to bring you a little bit of history every show just to lighten the mood because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes there are things in history that make us look really good in this day and age. It's hard to do that. It's hard to top it these days. But, you know, what do you got, Lauren?
I've got a little say what?
Say what?
Chirping sounds lead airport officials to bag filled with smuggled parrot eggs. In March, a customs official in Miami heard a faint chirping sound coming from a carry-on bag that had just come off a flight from Nicaragua. When asked to open the carry-on, the passenger smuggling the bag reached inside and pulled out an egg. Customs agents searched the bag and found more eggs, along with a few that had already hatched. The 24 parrot chicks are being cared for at their new home in Florida.
So we have some new immigrants in Florida, the 24 parrot chicks.
So strange.
But the guy got arrested, right? I mean, he can't. Wow, 24 eggs?
Smuggled in parrot eggs.
And it was his carry-on. It wasn't even like, oh, wow.
So strange.
That's nuts. I bet you they sell those things for a pretty penny, though.
I mean, I'm sure they're beautiful once they're all fully grown, but I mean,
I'm sorry.
it's so weird.
I'm not a bird guy.
I'm not either.
You know,
I'm not either.
And I definitely don't want to see. I want to see them at the pet store after they're fully grown. I don't want to see all the gunk on them when they hatch from the egg.
Then, you know, my mom has a serious fear of
birds.
Of parrots.
Sue's afraid of parrots.
Oh yeah, she when we were kids, we would always go to like the Pet Kingdom or Petland.
Oh, God.
Before dinner or something. We used to go to that Stonewood over on College and 41 over there.
Stonewood Grill, yeah.
And she was bending down and one of these birds flew in her hair. And she couldn't get it out. And she was like, please help me. And her and I were all just standing there, some big cockatoo got in there.
Sue, I am not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Your daughter's description is, she looks like you. So I'm just trying to imagine Sue
just freaking out, screaming. And I think my dad, he was just kind of like, take the bird off your head,
just move it.
Come on, move it.
It's okay. Speaking of the bird on the head, we really are talking a lot about retirement these days and what's going on in the world. We talked a little bit last week about the history of the U.S. debt, which was awesome, by the way. You did a great job on that research, Lauren. I had no idea you could track that all the way back to 1776.
So crazy.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, where are they keeping these records at, Anyway, so I thought, and you thought, well, now that we talked about, this debt ceiling, why don't we talk about spending a little bit, right? So what do you got for us today?
Well, reckless government spending, inflation forcing many Americans to unretire. Inflation rates seem to be cooling, but prices for many consumer goods are still higher this year over last year. Americans are spending more on rent now, which disproportionately impacts low-income people and older adults on fixed budgets.
Wow. Well, I guess that would be, obviously, how can somebody who's retired afford, think about our area, $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom,
I was
apartment.
Say, for a 1-1, it's around $2,100 a month. It's wild. Yeah. Nearly 10 million households headed by people over 65 pay more than 1/3 of their income on housing. Wow.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. A new survey says 55% of retirees who went back to work said they did so because they needed more money due to rising costs. 1 in 6 retirees is considering going back to work.
Oh, man. I hope that's none of our families. Hopefully, we've done our job enough so that you feel comfortable with your goals, your retirement, your vision. And that's the reason right there that it's so important to be goal-focused in retirement rather than investment performance-focused, right? What good is it making 30% one year and then losing another 20% the next year? This roller coaster ride has to stop because you don't know what part of the roller coaster you're going to be on when your rent goes up, right? And obviously, we have a lot of snowbirds down here, so a lot of our families do rent at certain parts of the year, right? Or they have a dual payment
right. for both houses or condos or whatever it is.
Right. And it used to be that you could get away with keeping your house up north and finding a nice place to rent down here for 6 months and having good. No more of that now. The prices are through the roof. So obviously with a better plan or a plan in place or goals being met, this performance wouldn't have been such a big indicator on our housing right now, right? It's crazy.
The last one I've got here is many older adults are also suffered market losses in 2022 as $12.2 trillion in wealth was wiped out.
12.2 trillion wiped out. So this is coming down to greed now, right? So we had so many years of an up market. I think it was like 10 to 15 years of an up market. So of course you could invest and feel comfortable in all these earnings. You're getting all this money that you're making. But, with any big gain comes the potential for that big loss. So again, when we get too greedy and we don't say when's enough, that extra 30% that we made that year that didn't make a darn difference in our lifestyle. But now we woke up and we're 40% down and that made a difference, right? It's just the common circle that successful families find themselves on because they haven't made that transition, that most important transition that we always talk about, the goals rather than the performance. And it sounds so silly, but I can guarantee you there's nothing more true than that. If you don't make that transition to thinking about your goals, then this is how you get slapped with a big loss, or you forget the goals now. It's what are we eating for dinner, or how are we affording our rent, right? It's such a scary world we live in, and we were spoiled by 10 to 15 years of an up market in the market. And don't get me wrong, I love the stock market. I think we talked about that, just had that lunch and learn event with the gentleman from Wisdom Tree who came in. Derek Lightburn, right? Mm-hmm. He came in from Wisdom Tree, and he showed all of our families that chart. Nothing has outperformed the stock market since 1900, right? I mean, it was a huge discrepancy. Like the stock market does it, but that doesn't mean that you were on the right part of the stock market in that year. If it was a horrible year and you retired, you might not have had another 20 or 30 years to make it back to that point again, right? And it's like a broken record. We say it all the time. Hopefully it starts to sink in though, and families start to see it. I mean, you see it all the time, Lauren.
All the time.
Yeah. Good job. I caught you. Lauren's having a milkshake. I caught her mid-drink there. I did that on purpose. We just have a lot of fun here. Anyway, so the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fans of all ages, the moral of the story is you really have to start becoming as goal-focused as you can in your retirement. Have a clear vision for what you want and what you want your money to accomplish. And this is becoming more of a psychological problem at this point because you all know why you do it. You know why you don't want to go there. That's because we're closer to the end now. And you have to start thinking about, well, now how long am I going to be here? How many years do I have left? Nobody ever wants to think about that, but you have to take yourself down that road if you want to find true success and freedom in retirement. It's a must.
We do have some upcoming workshops.
We do?
We do.
Oh, awesome.
We've got the Broadway Palm on Friday, July 7th at 10:30 a.m. Yes, it's a daytime workshop at the Broadway Palm. I think it's our first daytime workshop there ever. Yeah,
well, how am I supposed to talk to people at 10:30 a.m.? I'm so used to going through the day and just using that last bit of energy. Wow, this is going to be different for me.
You're going to be pumped.
You're going to want to see this, folks. Just come on. If you haven't been to one of our workshops before, if you're listening, I don't care what state you're in, fly in and come and see us. If you're listening, come to the workshop. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's never any charge. We give you a lot of really valuable pieces of wisdom that will significantly impact your retirement and make it even better, right?
Make retirement great again.
Make retirement great again. And then the Hilton Garden Inn, that's July 10th, right?
It's Monday, July 10th and Wednesday, July 12th. They both start at 11 a.m.
Those ones are okay. Those are like the workshop. I feel like I'm the professor in those ones. I like those ones. That's a little bit more of a slower vibe.
Class.
Yeah,
it's more of a classroom vibe.
Yeah, if you guys want to come for that one too, it's wonderful. It's a lot of fun. Real good people at those ones because those are the people that just want that wisdom, that are looking for those few nuggets to help make things even better, which is always nice. When you do the Broadway Palm events, there's pieces of mail that go out there. So you never know. Somebody might just want to be there for the show, and that's okay. Listen, if you want to come just for the show, you can, and I challenge you to sit through that workshop and not find at least 2 or 3 little nuggets in there that are going to make retirement even better. So.
Absolutely. We are Evolution Retirement Services. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Our website, taxfreefortmyers.com and evolutionretirementservices.com. You can also sign up for our workshops on either of those websites or give me a call, 239-771-8696.
I like that, 239-771-8696. You know what you can also do? As soon as you call, you can ask to talk to Kurt. Kurt loves to talk to new people.
Kurt will give you a run for your money.
Kurt and Lauren, if you didn't know, are sisters. It's a family affair here
sisters?
at Evolution. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not allowed to make jokes.
Warren, you're going to have to edit that out.
Kurt and Lauren are brother and sister, and it's just depending on our mood towards Kurt. Yeah, they're sisters. It just depends on what kind of mood you catch them in. So
yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
1973 by the numbers.
Wait, we're going over 1973?
Yes.
Why'd you pick 1973?
It seems like a good year.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I didn't know if there was like some significance between.
There is, okay. And we're going to go over that right now.
Oh, it's 50 years ago.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Continue. I apologize.
Here are some average costs from 50 years ago today. Average domestic airline fare was only $49.80 versus today $208.
Oh, I'm so excited. You've got the comparison from then and now. I love it. Okay.
The average hotel room rate was $20 versus today $212.
Wow.
Here we go. Hamburgers. 65 cents versus today $5.36.
I feel like that's like a bad hamburger too for $5.36.
Yeah, it's like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, like it was a quarter pounder's like six or $8 now, isn't it?
No
That's
cheese.
crazy.
I want all the good stuff.
Just the burger and the bun.
Fixins.
You don't even get sesame seeds on that bun. Oh man.
Gallon of gas, 36 cents versus today $3.49.
Holy cow. I don't think that's not a bigger increase than the hamburger though. Like the hamburger's like the biggest increase on this list right now.
And food in general. I think look at eggs a couple months ago. I mean, that was like having gold if you had eggs, you know?
I don't know how much I believe this one. What's this next one you got?
Average family income, $12,000 versus $70,784 in 2021.
Wow. That's a huge
jump.
Wow. Okay. I mean, 70,000. You really think average families are making 70,000 today in the U.S.?
Well, if you're a family and you have somebody and you're each making $35,000 a year, depending on what you're doing, I mean, I think that's probably on the lower end.
No, I guess you're right. I would think it was less than that. You know,
Were you thinking it was less?
I was thinking like 40 to 50 for some reason.
I mean, McDonald's pays like $18 an hour now.
Do they really?
Yeah.
God, you know, it'd be nice to just go in there once and have a job just to see.
I wouldn't know because you know what? I enjoy stopping at a Wendy's every now and then, and I feel like that might deter me from doing that.
You know, my son Austin, he's 20 now. He worked at a McDonald's for about a month and a half, and that was it for him. And he's never eaten McDonald's since.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to ruin it for myself. You know, it's like those cookies you brought in this morning. I was all like, no, I don't want any.
Listen, just a little peek into the evolution culture here. When we come into work every day, all of us, we don't even think of it as work. We have a lot of fun. And every day, everything, you know, we always get lunch together. The company pays for lunch. We all eat lunch together. Sometimes we don't eat lunch together. Sometimes I'm done with these people and I hide in my office. But most of the time we eat lunch together. We do all kinds of things. You know, we have team building exercises that we do every quarter together. Well, we bowled last time. That was fun.
And then July 15th, mark that on your calendar, Adam. We are going to be volunteering at the Animal Refuge Center in North Fort Myers. We're going to be helping out with the dogs over there and, you know, helping them exercise them, making sure that, you know, we're probably...
It makes sense because this is our yard, so we should help
the other dogs.
This is our yard. Okay. You know, the other thing, though, is... So Lauren's saying this on the air now because she doesn't think I'll say anything about this. I had a state flag football tournament when we were supposed to do our orientation for the puppies and helping the puppies out. And I said, listen, Lauren, I have to play in this tournament. I'm sorry. And it was kind of a last minute thing. And Lauren got mad at me, but it turned out that Dave had strep throat anyway. So we couldn't have gone anyway.
Which is fine.
So it worked out. So now we're going another time. It'll be okay.
Did you guys win?
You are really kicking below the pants today. You really are. You really are. I love you though. Anyway, so that's what we do here. We have a lot of fun if you didn't know. And our families do too every time they come in. So we're really excited about that. You know, we just had our quarterly event. All of our families are treated to quarterly events with some sort of speaker from the industry. They might be from Vanguard, BlackRock, Wisdom Tree, First Trust, different areas of the industry. So you understand what's going on at a 30,000 foot high level look at it. And then, of course, some of these guys, they like to go in the weeds. So then I have to step in and say, okay, well, what does that mean for the people sitting in the chairs, right? But it's a lot of fun. We always cater it. It's always good food, good family, fun, laughs. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, the last one was really great. I mean, we always have such a great turnout, too. And the questions are always, you know, really intriguing. You know, I feel like it gives them definitely a run for their money.
I do too. I feel the same way. And the thing that I love about it is they get such a big dynamic difference in personalities because obviously everyone knows that I'm the mouth, right? And I like to talk to people and I like to connect ideas and things like that. And these guys are so in the weeds. So it's always hard to kind of connect those dots. So that's the fun part. And the families know that I'm like that. So they're just waiting to see what I'm going to say to these guys that are up there.
Oh, yeah.
It would be really nice to have a young lady come in and speak though.
It
seems like it's a real man fest with all these organizations. I'd like to see, you know, obviously women are much more forward thinking than men are. They have the ability to compartmentalize. Men are just like, on one thing. And I just want to see what it looks like to have one of the, and we've been trying. There's a woman from First Trust that we love that we want to get in to speak. And she's just constantly engaged all the time. Like not engaged to be married, but like speaking engagements.
Yeah. You know, everybody wants her.
Yeah, well, you know, it happens. So it's a great time. And if you are one of our families listening, don't forget, we have our Bring Your Friend event coming up. When is that, Lauren?
That's next week on Thursday.
So Thursday, what's the date on that?
Or June 22nd.
June 22nd.
Starts right at 5 o'clock.
At the Broadway Palm. This is how you become an ambassador. All of you always ask us, how do I get in the ambassador club? You just bring somebody with you who you know could probably use our help or who needs to hear what we have to say. There's no sales pressure. There's no pushing, but you bring them and then you are in the ambassador club, right?
Well, if they make an appointment with us.
Oh, if they make an appointment to come see us. Yep.
See us.
They come sit down with us for 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. Ambassador Club. And that, the Ambassador Club's great because we do a big party for that in January. This year it's going to be a Casino Royale, 007 James Bond.
Actually, and Warren and I have a little surprise for everybody at that event.
That's going to be a time.
It's going to be interesting. All right. So, the average home cost in 1973, since we're on this, $32,000 in 1973 was the average home cost. And then here are some of the Florida numbers. The median home price, $410,400. Number 18 in the USA. By the way, that's where we're ranked, number 18.
Wow.
Median rent price, $1,218 for a studio.
For a studio.
Because I
don't even know if you can get a studio for $1,200 anymore.
Unbelievable.
Especially nothing new.
That's number 12 in the U.S. Lowest home value, $187,000. That's the lowest home value, $187,000. And the average home price, average home value, $298,000. It's just unbelievable.
It really is.
Unbelievable.
It's gone up so much. It's incredible.
Lauren, I wanted to spend some time talking about, we very rarely talk about investments on here, but something really unique just happened to us. And a lot of our families, that we use buffered exchange traded funds.
Correct.
Meaning, we buffer it against the S&P 500. So it'll have a 25% buffer against loss. Most of our families that were involved in the buffered ETFs last year, even though the S&P had been down about 22.5%, most of our families, were in that 8% range, which was pretty unique. I saw a report from First Trust. We had lunch with Jack. He brought all of our numbers in. They were in that 8% range. I just was so excited about that.
Yeah. Considering all the volatility, it's.
Yeah, that's one portion of the, there's all different types of investments, but that's one portion of our investments, one floor of our building. And now I'm even more excited to announce, and a lot of our families are going to be hearing from us on this, that we have the ability now to actually have no downside risk at all.
Wow.
And with that comes anywhere from a 14 to an 18% cap on the S&P 500. Now, there is a time commitment. It's usually 1 year or 2 years, depending on, but no more than 2 years. But think about just riding along with the S&P and not having to take any losses at all. There's no loss.
Amazing.
You can't lose, and having that cap, right? So you could just ride along, and if the S&P is down or in the negative, we're not losing it. But if it does go up, we can cap it out at 14 to 18% or something like that. Kurt's been talking about that. I just feel like there's for whatever reason right now, I feel like that's such a strong play to do right now. It's a very strong play because what's the worst that can happen?
It's safe.
It's safe. But you have the ability to make so much. That's an extremely high cap on the ability to make some money.
With no downside.
Yeah, they're called structured notes. So our families are used to barrier notes as well. And this is all not new lingo to you if you're a family that's listening. But if you do have cash right now, if you do have things that are sitting on the sidelines, I've been really excited about this. So we're going to be sending out some info to the new families. And if you want to hear more about that, you can obviously email info@evolutionretirementservices.com. Normally, when you talk about no loss, protection from loss, it's a longer time commitment than 1 or 2 years. It's a very longer time commitment. The other thing that I'm really excited about while we're on the investment train here is, we've talked about multi-year guaranteed annuities before, which are not your traditional annuities. It's basically a CD issued by the insurance company, right? For 3 years, you can get 5.2% compounding interest and no fees, which is pretty good. We also now have a brand new tool that we're getting ready to roll out. It has a 3% guaranteed amount, fixed interest amount. However, it doesn't end there. It could actually go as high as 8 or 9%, depending on how the S&P does. So the minimum is 3%. You're at least going to make 3%.
And that's a MIGA.
And that's not a MIGA.
So
it's kind of like a
MIGA.
hybrid. It's kind of like a hybrid MIGA.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It's actually only available to registered investment advisory firms, which is what makes it unique. It's through a company called Athene, but you can also get your money back whenever you want it, your initial principal. Like, normally when you talk about a MIGA, there's surrender charges and things like
sure.
that.
And there's a certain amount of time that you have to keep your money in there?
Well, you have 5 years with this, so you can let it go for the 5 years, or if there's ever a point where you want your you just take it back out.
Great.
So that the whole surrender thing goes out the window then, right? So some really unique options. And it's important that our families have that available to them, right? They have to have the ability to think outside the box. We have to have the ability to kind of match what's going on with the environment and think about what everybody really wants. A lot of people are nervous about, their money being tied up for a certain amount of time. So to be able to have the best of all worlds is really nice. It's really unique. We're really excited about some of the things that are coming down the pike. And if you're a family that already is with us, you already know that we constantly do this. We
always have the latest and greatest, and you guys are always asking us questions about the latest and greatest.
Right.
So it's nice to be able to know that you're in good hands with us. And, and I hope you guys don't mind me asking questions about the investments because, I think it's something that you guys might have questions, the same questions as I do.
Well, that's why I love it when you ask, because if you're asking us, because let's put it this way, your job is the front of the house and the back of the house. You get to see all of us in our bad moods, our good moods. You get to see, what's going on when people come in. I mean, you are the relations coordinator, the public relations coordinator. So you see everything, and we couldn't do it without you. So, the idea here is, how do we get that across? I've always had a real gift for that, being able to kind of relate the material, But the idea is I can't be the only one in the company that does that. And if we left it up to Kurt, people would fall asleep before they realized what. Everybody loves Kurt. I know everybody loves him when they work with him. But, Dave, too, to a certain extent. Those guys are very in the weeds, in the numbers. To me, I want to know what the goal is. I want to know what we can accomplish with this particular investment. And I'm not scared of the investment world whatsoever. I love our relationships. I love that we're institutional managers. I love that our families get to go directly to the institutions rather than Kurt, Dave, myself sitting behind the desk trying to buy and sell ETFs like some of these other jokers do. And they say it's completely customized to that family, but it's not. They have models set up. So it's just one of those situations where I feel like being direct, what's the word I'm looking for? The word where they see everything. Full disclosure.
Transparent.
Transparent. That's the word I'm looking for. Being fully transparent is important.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to operate in a fiduciary manner. And that's the other thing.
Absolutely.
All these other jokers in the area that use that throw that term fiduciary around, and they're bashing each other. The market guy's bashing the insurance guy's bashing the market guy. I mean, really, neither one of you can call yourself a fiduciary. You have to be able to put your client's needs above your own. And how are you going to put your client's needs above your own if you don't have a full toolbox for them to choose from everything? The market, the insurance world, the Medicare world, everything. You should be able to come into one place and have all your questions answered. That's the way it should be. That's why we have 2 estate planning attorneys, 2 CPAs. So, I'm just really happy with the way things have gone down. And I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that there's even more opportunity around the corner. And a year from now, there'll be even more opportunity there. And we'll just keep moving, and we will keep evolving, because that's right. That's why it's named Evolution Retirement Services. The evolution of your retirement. So, I'm just really excited. I mean, how are you feeling?
I feel great. I also wanted to mention that we do have a vetted team as far as realtors, travel agents, restaurants in the area, hotels. If you guys are looking for something in the area, you have a question, feel free to give me a call. We have a whole list of people that we work with that some of them are our families, and some of them, are people that we've known and trusted for many years.
And we've vetted, that's the important
them,
thing.
Yes. So
I couldn't agree more. If you have a question about something that you have a need for, I mean, like we just helped one of our families build a pool because one of my best friends builds pools.
Travel agents as well. If you're looking at travel and you're not sure where to start, I know we have a couple people that we, work with that do a fantastic job. And just give me a call, guys. I have their information. I can set you up with a call with them. My email, lauren@evolutionretirementservices.com, or give me a call, 239-771-8696.
That's it. Listen, don't forget, taxfreefortmyers.com. Don't forget those events coming up. We got July 7th, 10:30 a.m. at the Broadway Palm. We got July 10th and July 12th. That's a Monday and a Wednesday, 11 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn. You come, you see, we educate. We give you those pieces of wisdom that are going to significantly impact your retirement. Hopefully you got a few of them today. And until we see you next time, I'm Adam Bruno, and that is
Lauren Trolson,
the one and only, and we're going to blast out of here. Peace out, everybody.
Investment advisory services are offered through Evolution Wealth Management Incorporated, an investment advisor registered with the state of Florida. Registration does not imply any level of skill or training. Evolution Wealth Management's unique CRD number is 307644. You can obtain a copy of Evolution Wealth Management's firm brochure, Form ADV Part 2A, free of charge by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov. Evolution Wealth Management offers investment advisory services only, where it is appropriately registered or exempt from registration, and only after clients have entered into an investment advisory agreement confirming the terms of engagement and have been provided a copy of the firm's ADV Part 2A. Insurance services are provided by Evolution Retirement Services. Any guarantees mentioned are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company and may be subject to restrictions, limitations, or early withdrawal fees, which vary by the issuer. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. You should consider the charges, risks, expense, and investment objectives carefully before entering a contract. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only and should not be construed as a solicitation to affect or attempt to affect either transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. This material is not intended to provide and should not be relied on for tax, legal, accounting, or other financial advice. Evolution Wealth Management and Evolution Retirement Services do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. Evolution Wealth Management and Evolution Retirement Services are affiliated entities.